Oh my gosh, it's episode 400. 400 of the OMG Hour.
Here
And
so quick.
and if you can believe it, I'm still Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane everywhere.
Well, not everywhere anymore. Anyways, Tycko, Mr. Second Place here for one last time.
One
Why
last
not?
hurrah.
Why not one more?
So, can you even believe we've done 400 episodes of this show, Tycko? 400.
Well, I haven't done quite 400.
You
but
have
I've done
not. I've done
a
400
lot.
episodes, and this thing started back in 2012. You know, and back that was when Craig was my co-host. Remember, if you remember Craig Galbraith, that guy. So he started the show with me, of course, and he was around for like what's that? What is that?
It's the ghost of episodes past.
What? Who's there? Oh my gosh, it's Craig. What?
Can you believe it?
Wow, Craig.
I'm still alive.
Craig, when's the
didn't
last
die.
time you were on this show? Was it like episode
2012.
50? I think you came back for episode 50, didn't you?
I thought it was 100.
Maybe
But
it
was
was.
I back for 100?
Maybe you were. Maybe you were
It was
also.
a cool number. I remember that.
That
It
was
big.
still.
This is the biggest number, though. This is as high as they get.
This
is some number. I am so glad you guys invited me to be on the show today.
Oh my gosh.
Very impressive 400 episodes.
Craig, can you
That's incredible,
believe
guys.
the show is still
Yeah.
is still going? Like when we started this show in 2012, did you think it would go this long? Honestly.
No, I didn't. It was just kind of something that, and we'll talk about it, but it was just something that was like an idea that we didn't know where it was going to go.
No.
You know, like podcasting was still, I mean, it'd been around for a little while, but it was still kind of new to me.
Right.
And it was just something you did because it was exciting and we were passionate about those things we were talking about. And it didn't have like a beginning or an end. It was just something that had to be done.
Yeah. And it was something you and I had always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we met. The two of us actually met because of PAX East 2012. We, it was basically, yeah, you're wearing your shirt from 2012. Look at that.
I don't know if that shows up on camera, but I kept it all these years, and every time I put it
Just
on,
for this.
all I can remember is this was the nightest, the origin story for the OMG Hour, and of course, that's how you and I met.
Exactly, because we were looking for people to drive down with, and I think I had put it out on Twitter, hey, we've got room for one more or something, and you're like, hey, can I get a ride with you? Sure. So we met because we literally drove down together.
Yeah, I was living on Twitter at the time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we all were back at right. So you and I, we kind of just gelled, the two of us. You know, we hung out throughout the whole thing. At that point, I had a press pass, so you ended up coming with me to all my appointments, which was awesome. I'm sure.
Funny story that was, because I'm sure you can't do that anymore.
I absolutely. I've done it.
It was like I snuck in almost.
Well,
all of those appointments.
Kind of. I actually did it every year. I did it every year. Brian Young, after, was it the third or fourth year of going, he invited me to come stay with him when I went to PAX.
I remember you down there to stay with him, but I didn't know that you were still able to pull that off.
He was still able to come with me to all my appointments, so he didn't have to stick.
He held a camera.
Yeah, he did our camera for us.
Yeah, he held the camera for us, so he would just stand behind us during our interviews and chats and everything like that, and just sort of listen in while holding up the camera.
Yeah,
because to me, that made the experience. Now, I hadn't been to a PAX before then, and I hadn't been to a PAX since. So because that was my only PAX,
oh wow,
that made the experience for me. It would have been such a different experience, and I wouldn't have I most certainly wouldn't have the memories that I have, but I wouldn't have got anywhere near out of it what I got out of it. It was like a tour de force for my one and only, because I was able to tag along for all those appointments.
Yeah.
And it was getting in to see game.
Yeah.
All people, and of course having spare time, because we weren't stuck in lines the whole time, to actually hang out and have conversations with folks like Dan Amrich and play some board games and card games.
Yeah, I know, it was awesome. Do you remember the moment we decided to create the show? And do you recall that we both immediately knew the name of it?
Well, I remember that we knew the name, but I'm trying to remember if there was a moment. Were we in Boston at the time?
Oh yes, we were actually in the hotel room one day. We were both talking. I think it was it was in the evening. It was after everything was done, and we both started talking about because we were talking about Dan Amrich because you coined the phrase fan Amrich because we were both fans of Dan Amrich. Yep. And we just started talking about, I always wanted to do a podcast, and you were like, me too, and so we just kind of.
It was in the hotel room.
It was in the hotel room, and immediately we both knew what the name was because it was only a couple of weeks before that Ryan McCaffrey on OXM coined the phrase the OMG hour because he, and I can never remember his name. Do you remember the sound engineer's guy? His name that was always there.
Oh, the snowboarder.
He became part of the show.
I know I'm like Facebook friends with him, and now I'm blanking on his name.
I'm blanking on his name, but they both just turned 30, right? And you and I were in our 40s.
Please.
And they coined the phrase, "Hey, now we're old married gamers." And the sound engineer guy, again, can't remember his name. He literally said, "Yeah, we'll have to change this to the OMG hour." And immediately, you and I were like, "That's the name." Yeah, that's the name we're going to use. Yeah. And we actually reached out to Ryan McCaffrey and asked permission to use the name in a podcast. Yeah. And he said, "Go for it. Do us proud." And here we are 9 years later.
Yeah, he's kicking himself now, isn't he?
I know, eh? What a missed marketing opportunity that was! Just that brand,
yeah, right.
But you've done a lot with it. Actually, I shouldn't joke. You actually did turn it into a brand.
It's a network now.
Beyond that one show, which I think was kind of your vision anyway.
Yeah, it was. We're going to get into a little more details on that origin, but Craig, I mean, you haven't been on the show for years now. I mean, if 100 was your last time here, that had to have been about 6 years ago.
What? Okay, yeah, I believe you.
Right, 6, maybe 7 years ago.
Where the heck? I don't even know where I would have been living.
No, I'd say it was about 6 years ago. So what have you been doing, sir, for the last 6 years, dude? Catch us up. I want to know. I want to know day by day. From
he wants the show to last another 9 years.
Back as far as lunch today. No, I'm just kidding. Are you cool if I get into some of the personal details? I'll keep it very high level.
Yeah, just do some. I just want to know how you've been doing. Just give us a couple minute breakdown.
Yeah, so kind of major life changes that happened in 2012 that made it very challenging to do pretty much anything. So I kind of fell off of games as well around that time.
What? I don't know why you're on this show then, man. Get off. Get out.
He's got the shirt, Sean. He's allowed.
Oh, he's got the shirt. All right. He's cool.
This is my press pass.
That's
today.
Great. Excellent.
So kind of what I ended up doing was I got back more into the music side of my life. So I kind of got back in touch with my artistic side, probably between like 2013 and, well, I guess I still am. I've kind of embraced that since then. And I kind of started a whole brand new life with, a whole new relationship, both with like a new partner and also, spending kind of better time with my kids. Cause I think I was actually playing too many video games at the time. I know you're going to say there's no such thing.
What? I don't understand that concept. What?
Your kids weren't playing enough video games is the problem.
Yeah, well, they're playing lots now, that's for sure. But some people kind of find that magic combination of being able to incorporate, gaming into their lives of their partners and their kids, and it kind of becomes like a kind of part of the everyday conversation in the household, and that didn't happen for me. So that was a kind of a big challenge in my life. Mm-hmm. So I ended up kind of falling away from it. And it kind of took us, a bit of a side stage, but I always kept it alive. Like I've had, I got the Xbox One on launch edition, and I got a PlayStation 4, and then I got a Pro, and I got the PSVR, and I got the Xbox One S, and then I got the X as soon as it launched, and now I have a Series X and a PlayStation 5 and an Oculus Quest 2. I have a Nintendo Switch. I still use my 3DS.
Craig, you and I are like we're just twins, man.
I still game, but I game differently. I don't game enough that I can have conversations about what's the latest and greatest.
Right.
I kind of am like one of those people that I used to like wonder, how is it that you're like, I can only pick one game to play this year, guys. I need to read a review to figure out what my time is best spent on, rather than just, why don't you just play them all, dude? It's like, no, I can't play them all anymore. And I ended up starting like a music entertainment video live stream a number of years ago, and that kind of became my passion.
Right.
Because I love music, I love technology, and I've been doing that with my now fiance, soon to be wife, Andrea. We're going to be getting married this September.
Oh wow! Congratulations,
Congratulations.
dude.
So if the show was going to continue, I was going to ask to be back on the show because I finally got my M back.
You got your M back.
But that
so all this time you've just been an old gamer, you're not an old married gamer.
But an OG, which has a whole other meaning. I've completely changed careers. Anyway, things are really good now. I'm working for a whole new company. I got a whole new career that keeps me super, super busy. Kids are doing great. I'm still gaming. It's just on a slightly different level.
Right.
Super happy. I have my own show that my fiance and I do live on Wednesday nights on Facebook called My Living Room Live. That's kind of like the high level version, but I still do gaming, and hopefully I can keep up a little bit with the conversations of this evening.
You know, you're actually not that different even from Tycko and I, because even the last several years, I think Tycko could attest, is we've actually, I would say every year we've noticed, every year as we do our year-end shows, the number of games we've played all year is getting smaller and smaller over the years. You know, it's just like when Tycko first started the show, at the end of that year, he played something like 180 some odd games. You know,
it was ridiculous. And that was like double the combined. It was double the combined numbers of Sean and Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and Tycko, what was it this year? Something like 70?
It was
60, 70? Yeah.
It was under 100 this year.
Yeah.
Which is weird for me.
That's still a good number.
It's still a good number, but it shows a progression of because Tycko and I are also focusing on board gaming, right? We started our board gaming shows middle of last year, and so that's really taking off for us. Yeah. And so our focus has been split between board games and video games. And this show in and of itself, after 300, after Jeff left the show, we split the show as well into not just gaming, but also entertainment, movies and television.
Yep.
Right. So because we're fans of it all. Like we are.
I couldn't tell based on your backgrounds.
Right. Right. I mean, if you really think about it, the show isn't just old married gamers anymore. It's really old married geeks.
Yeah.
the
Because
G still stands.
G still stands, but we're fans of it all. Gaming, television, movies, you know, like board gaming, all of it. The VR is just, man, I was playing Super Hot VR before.
I will always be a G, always.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
I've been a G since the day I was born, man. And I was always
playing a board game tonight too, so you know, it's not just games. I'm glad to hear you say that. You guys have been branching out all over the place in that whole kind of geekdom.
Yeah. And
I mean, umbrella.
I was never, even as a kid, I was never ashamed to say I was a geek. I was actually proud of saying I'm a geek. I loved it. I was just like, I'm a geek. Of course I am. Why would I be, you know? But, hey, Craig. So, you probably don't know this, but 2 years ago, Tycko, it was 2.5 years ago when we started episode 300. 301, actually, after we took a little bit of a hiatus after 300. And it came back, and it was just Tycko and I. Jeff did not come back to the show. For reasons I will... You know what? It's the final show. Should we even just say it, Tycko? Jeff...
No, we don't know.
Jeff ghosted us, guys. We literally don't know what's going on. He has literally, since we stopped doing a 300, about a month later, he stopped responding to anything we ever sent him. To this day. I've tried to get him on this show, just literally ghosted us.
And we haven't, and neither of us have heard word one from him in
3 years.
However long that's been.
It's been almost 3 years.
He is an OMG. He is an oddly missing ghost.
Absolutely. So, long story short, we don't know why Jeff didn't come. I mean, his life was also changing. I'll give him that. I know his life was changing.
Hey, look, we're at that age. That happens to some people.
I only say it like, listen, I considered Jeff a very close friend, and for that, it hurt for that to happen. And I don't even know why. So it was like, what's going on here, you know? But anyway,
I remember going through some weird stuff too. Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to just give him the benefit of the doubt, and that is because I believe I know what you're talking about. Him going through, and it's one of the most difficult things you can ever go through your entire life. And I know some people are probably thinking, no, there's so much worse things, but you know, to that person, it's life altering in so many ways. And there's lots of people that I found myself being unable to speak to just because it was so hard.
Yeah.
So,
no, I get
anyway,
it. For sure.
So hopefully he's out there. Maybe he's watching, listening. So you know what, Jeff? You know, hopefully you're doing okay, man.
No, we wish him well, and
I've sent him
at some point our lives can cross again at some point.
I've sent him I've sent him that many texts, many texts over the years saying, I hope you're doing well. So I hope he is. I'd love to chat with him again, but Jeff didn't return after 300. So Tycko and I took the show in. We modified the show a bit. We added stuff to it that we'd never done before. So that's when we added television and movies discussions, and we also started adding, trying to come up with different fun segments, little games to play. But one of those games we came up with was 7 Degrees of Translation, and we're going to play that right now. But Craig.
I felt that coming.
Yeah. Craig.
Oh, man.
It's all on you. So here's
what's... Is now a good time to have technical difficulties?
No.
Oh, I'm losing you.
No.
I'm losing you.
It's not going to help. We'll hunt you down.
Here's what...
Explain the rules
here's
and
what
the
7...
concept of the game.
Yeah, so 7 Degrees... Tycko, do you want to explain the rules of it?
All right. So 7 Degrees of Translation is basically this. We take a popular... The name of a popular movie, book... or video game. And in this case, we've done video games for you, and we run them through Google Translate 7 different languages to see what we come back with, and then we give you what it came back with. We'll tell you the languages that we ran it through, and you have to try to guess the name of the video game based off of
the translation.
Seven translations.
How awesome!
Okay, so I've done 3. Tycko's done 3. Mine have
I've done 2.
You did 2. Okay, that's fine. I did 3, but they've all got a theme. They all have a running theme. You can figure out the theme. It'll help you with it. So, Tycko, do you want to start with your 2?
All right.
And what languages did you use?
So the languages I went with, so we started with English, obviously. Went through Croatian, Danish, Chinese simplified, if that makes a difference to you. Greek, Japanese, Afrikaans, and Irish before coming back to English.
All right, you got that? You're translating it all in your head?
All of those languages are languages I don't speak.
Excellent. Perfect.
So this will make it... All right, the first one is Live Electric.
Live Electric. So talk it out. Try to figure... And these are all video games. We didn't...
These are all video games.
Yeah.
Live Electric. Okay, so Live... oh my gosh, that one could be so many things. It could be something like heart or electric energy, storm, live something. Storm. Am I close with storm on electric? Am I allowed to get hints?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, sure. There's going to be a time. We can't let it go forever, but just think on it. If you can say, okay, I give up, whatever.
Oh my God! Because there's a good chance that the title that you originally input is more than 2 words. Correct?
It could be.
There is a chance. It could also be a 1 word that somehow gets translated into multiple words too.
We've seen that. Ooh. So a couple more seconds. Think on it, and then.
Live Electric.
I don't even know what this one is.
Live.
Do you want to give a hint, Tycko? Some kind of a hint.
No.
Can you? Okay.
I'm trying to think of a hint that won't give it away right away.
Okay. Is it 1 word or 2 words?
How about the developer? Who's the developer?
Okay. 2K.
Ooh.
I'll give you the hint of Atlas.
Oh, BioShock!
BioShock.
Oh
is
my
correct.
gosh!
Beautiful. That's perfect. Now, bio from Live.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think when I went through Greek, it got to that.
Awesome.
All right,
Tycko.
That's actually quite cool.
What's your next one?
All right. The homeowners were bad.
The homeowners were bad.
I know this one. Tycko told me. This is hilarious.
The homeowners were bad.
And it's so perfect, too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
The homeowners.
I did it again, Tycko.
Oh, you kicked over? It wouldn't be the last episode if you didn't kick over the stack of random floppy disks that you've set at your feet for some reason.
Stack of random floppy disks at my feet.
So is that like a challenge where you're trying not to move?
No, I just keep forgetting they're there.
Homeowners are bad. Well, I'll tell you, homeowners in Ontario are bad.
Yeah.
The price people are paying for houses around here is insane.
Yeah, well, I don't mind so much that because my property values are going up.
Well,
so.
what's another word for bad? If you're
Uh,
bad, you could be
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil
There
is
it
correct.
is. Right? So good.
Oh my god. The
All right.
homeowners are bad.
The first one, okay, my languages are Russian, Latin, Arabic, Hebrew, Danish, Swedish, back to English. Okay.
Latin's the one that messes it up here.
All right, so I think this is an easy one. I'm going to give this one to you because I think it's easy. Remember dogs.
Remembered Watch Dogs.
Yes, very good, very good.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay. The next one, I love this next one. It is so perfect. Killer Doctrine. Killer Doctrine. It's so perfect. I love it. I could not believe it came out to this.
Well, that actually sounds like a video game.
Right?
Like,
it does.
It actually
I'm
there's
sure
a Phantom
Capcom's
Doctrine.
working on it right now.
Sorry?
Phantom Doctrine is a video game.
Right. But this is Killer Doctrine.
Killer Doctrine.
And you definitely know this game.
Ooh. Killer Doctrine. Now, killer could be like murder, battle, gun, killer, guilty, killer doctrine.
You're gonna kick yourself if you don't get this.
I hope I do because I bet it sounds like it's going to be hilarious. Killer doctrine.
No, but it totally makes sense what it is too. When you hear what it is, you're gonna be like, it makes total sense.
Assassin's Creed.
Yes. All right.
Perfect.
And the final. So remember, there's a theme. So think about the theme between Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. The next one is just Platoon. Platoon.
Oh my god. Platoon.
What is the common thread between the first
Ubisoft,
Platoon?
I believe.
Yeah. You got the
So-
theme correct.
So Platoon would be. I've probably played a game in this series then recently.
Yep. You sure have.
Oh my goodness. You know I have?
Oh, yes.
Well, I don't know you have, but I know the answer.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you have. I'll give you a hint. There's two of them.
Oh crap. Oh, I love that you're chuckling. Platoon. Platoon.
Excellent.
Like
I like when they work out so well like this too.
Right?
They actually that makes sense when you hear it. Some of them
Yep.
are just complete gibberish.
yeah,
By the
no
time
one's
you
ever
get
gonna,
it back.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill myself because I'm sure I've played
Oh, you
one
have.
of these games recently.
All right, do you want me to give it to you?
You're 4 for 4 so far, which by the way is better than our combined records.
It's pretty fantastic, actually. All right, we do need to move on, but what do you think?
Tell me what it is.
It's The Division.
Oh my God, I played Division 2 not that long ago. It's a great game.
But right, Platoon, Division. It makes sense.
It sounds like a Chinese knockoff.
Yeah.
Free to play Division 2.
Exactly.
You know? Platoon.
Well, let's get back into just a little bit of history on the show. We already talked about its origin and how you and I came up with the name at 2012, and we got our permission from that guy, Ryan McCaffrey. But Jeff, after you had to leave because of personal reasons after episode 20, I was like, well, I don't want to end the show. What am I going to do? And I also didn't know if you were just temporarily gone, which I think was the original thought was, hey, I just need some time away, is what you told me. I didn't know the details yet.
He was just temporarily gone because he's back now.
That's right. Temporary.
He's back for the rest of the series.
I told you, after September, I'm back in, baby.
Perfect. So I reached out to Jeff, who I was, good friends with Jeff and Miranda. I reached out to Jeff. I said, hey, do you want to be? Because they were both on the show, episode 13. Remember, I went up to stayed with them, and they were guest hosts with us on we recorded from Ottawa. And they were on there. So I said, hey, Jeff, would you like to come on as a guest host? Well, Craig's away. He can't be on the show right now. So Jeff became a temporary guest host on episode 21 and stuck around for 280 shows. That's
cool production value too, right. By the way. I remember. I'm like, all right, that's maybe it was good that I left because this show looks and sounds really cool now.
Well, thank you. We've put some definitely put some thought into. Hey, we're not playing 7 Degrees anymore. I should probably turn off the game. We're not playing that anymore.
Oh, really? I actually enjoyed that. So if you can think of, if you have any more kicking around, look, just fire them my way.
It was a fun game. Tycko and I played it for quite a few weeks, but he kicked my butt always. He had a higher score than me.
Well, the trick is to understand the clue giver too, because Sean would always go with the same theme across all of his, and so
I always had a theme.
Sean's,
yeah,
and usually the easiest way to do is just check what Sean's currently playing, and that's what
you did the same thing, Tycko. You did like what was the game that released yesterday? But anyway, and then Tycko, do you remember the circumstance behind your joining the show? You came along at episode 169.
Yeah, so I remember. We had run into each other at a Microsoft event.
Yeah.
And we were chatting, and I said, hey, if you ever want a guest host, I'd love to do it. I had just finished working for Microsoft, which is why I had never done it before, because working for Microsoft felt it wouldn't be appropriate for me doing reviews or anything like that while doing it. So I had just finished working, so I was at an event anyways, and I said, hey, if you ever want a guest host, let me know.
But you did something very specific for Jeff.
Well, yeah, so Jeff, I'd listen to the show on a regular basis, and Jeff had constantly said, well, I don't have an Xbox. Well, I had, again, just finished working for Microsoft, so I had a few lying around. So I'm like...
As one does.
We're talking about an Xbox One here.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, he haven't played. I'm like, Sean, send me his address. So I just packed a system away and sent it off to him.
Didn't even tell him it was coming. He had no idea that it was coming. It was a surprise.
That would be the best surprise.
Right.
Actually, I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we finally got Jeff onto the Xbox platform, which was nice.
Hey,
and so, they invited me on.
That's how you do it, right?
Yeah, they invited me on for an episode, promised me some steak knives, and here we are.
We did promise you steak knives, Tycko.
They couldn't get rid of you no matter how hard they tried.
Tycko, I have something to tell you about your steak knives.
Are they still lost in the mail?
They were returned.
Oh.
I have your steak knives, Tycko.
All right, as soon as this COVID thing is come, I'm coming for those knives.
So you'll get them by the next episode, right, Sean?
Next episode, Tycko, you'll have them.
Next episode. I will be enjoying. It's been hard because every time I've had steak for the last 7 years, I've had to just chew into it like an animal.
Yeah.
Well,
so it's been terrible.
Well, I don't know what to do, Tycko, because they were returned. They were sent back, returned to sender. So I'm just gonna have to keep them for myself.
Listen, I know where you live.
Like Craig said, the next episode of the OMG Hour, you can have them.
All right, deal. So yeah, I feel very fortunate to have gotten an opportunity to sort of start, and the fact that you guys kept inviting me back. Kept saying,
why
hey,
did we invite you back? I don't even remember why.
I don't know. I mean, you obviously were hard up for somebody to make fun of or something. I don't know what it was, but
we actually,
I feel...
Jeff and I actually really appreciated the extra voice on the show. It would actually really added a whole new dynamic to the show. And that's why we just that. Yeah, keep coming back if you're willing to do it. I think at first you were just a guest the 1 week, and I think it wasn't right away that you came back. I don't think, was it?
I think it was. I came 1 week, and then it was, like, hey, if you want to pop back in next week, sure. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got nothing else going on. I've at this point, it was a great opportunity for me to get to talk video games. Having no longer being with Microsoft at that point.
Yeah.
I really wanted to sort of stay in that realm, and I was very fortunate that these guys let me stick around, and have continued to let me stick around up until this point.
Yeah.
And now I'm out.
And now you're out. I mean, and it was a great opportunity. Like, you and I reconnected after years, because we hung out a lot while I was in Hamilton. And once I left, it wasn't around anymore.
Yeah.
So it was a really great chance for the two of us to catch up. Craig, what do you remember about the origins of the show and the first 20 episodes? What do you remember about what I have coined the Craig years?
Well, I remember that we used to hang out in my basement with a small mixer.
Yeah.
There was
Friday nights.
It was Friday nights. I had a TV with an Xbox 360. I think it was just a 360. It was plugged into that. And I think occasionally, we played a game or two on there. And then I believe the arcade cabinet was also in that room.
Do you remember what we did with your arcade cabinet every week?
Yeah, we did a retro replay.
Yeah, we would pick an old game.
Play an old game. And I think there was one, I forget, it was one I used to play in a bowling alley. Something to do with, oh my God, what was it called?
Was it the Tanks game?
No, there's one where you swing on vines and you avoid alligators, but it wasn't Pitfall.
It wasn't Pitfall?
It wasn't Pitfall.
What?
It had to be Pitfall.
It's called Jungle something.
That's a no-name knockoff of Pitfall.
No, the graphics were pretty decent.
Like Jungle Run or something like that?
Jungle something. But I remember that. I remember I played that once.
I remember from the bowling alley. I remember
there was also a bar there, so it was a good, chill place to do a podcast.
You know what games I remember from bowling alleys and roller rinks back in the day? Burger Time.
Gauntlet for me.
Oh man, I could not get enough of Burger Time. I loved that game. But you know what I find really unique about episode 400 recording today? It's January 29th, 2021. Our first episode, Craig, was April 29th. 2012. We are literally 3 months to the day of the 9th anniversary of this show. Like, it's the synergy is just so cool. We started on the 29th, we're ending on the 29th.
And 2012, you flip that around.
And it's 2021. Oh my gosh, Tycko.
There you go.
This is just
stuff.
It's kismet. It's kismet. But I went back through our show notes, Craig, to see what were we talking about in 2012 when we started the show. I was actually amazed that this show has spanned 3 generations of consoles.
Yes.
The Xbox 360 is what we were playing. It wasn't until a year and a half later that the Xbox One and PS4 came out. Yep. And just last year, obviously, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X came out. This show has spanned 3 generations of consoles, which I thought was amazing. But we were talking mostly Xbox 360. Of course, that was the time PS3. And I think you and I kind of stayed away from the PS3. Or you played PS3 more than I did, I think.
Oh, I hated because I always got the PlayStation a little later than
right.
Microsoft.
I hated playing the PS3.
I'm sure I had one.
You did have one because you borrowed Ni no Kuni from me at one point and never gave it back.
I got the PlayStation 3. I gave it back to you.
No, I told you to keep it because I think I got it digitally.
Oh, do I still have it?
You still have Ni no Kuni, yes.
Oh my God! Because I just got Ni no Kuni 2 recently, and I was just thinking about that. I'm like, oh, I remember I borrowed that from Shaw, the first one.
Yeah, you did. I'm pretty sure I told you to keep it because I think I
got the PlayStation 3 to play Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, 4?
4. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my console buying decision for the PlayStation was solely because of that game. But I can't remember if I was really playing it regularly.
No, I think we were both mostly 360 back then.
I think so.
But that was around the time of the Wii U announcement. And also, I believe we both did this. We backed the OUYA. Remember that?
I've got one of those little suckers.
It's sitting right over there. I still have the OUYA. It's sitting right there. Oh, and let me grab something. Hang on. I have the OUYA.
There it is.
Not only that.
Because I remember us talking about that, and I don't know what the hell I was on, but I was excited about that stupid little thing.
I know.
Yeah.
So there's the OUYA. Nice little tiny.
Mine's in a box upstairs.
This is collector's edition brown, is that?
No, it's silver. But
okay.
Do you
I got the brown one.
Do you also remember this? The game stick.
The game stick. I've got that too.
Stick.
You don't remember this, Craig?
It's HDMI stick that plugs into the TV and then runs Android through that controller.
That's the controller, and then back here is a HDMI stick. That is the console right there, the game stick, and then that's
there is.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think this has ever been plugged in.
Okay.
Because it never happened. Like they released it, but then the game store lasted like a couple of months.
I don't think mine's ever been plugged in either. I have it. It's Android based. I should probably pull it out and.
I should probably plug it in and see if it even works. Like I honestly don't even know. But I remember these things it was so big back then. These tiny consoles that were supposed to be moddable. You create your own game. Anybody can create a game for them. And we man,
the emulators.
We were so
wanted them for the emulators.
Hey, I was an idiot for being excited about an OUYA, but at least I never got myself a game stick. So at least there's that.
But you got the OUYA, right? And you know what was awful about the OUYA is we got the OUYA after it hit retail stores. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So ridiculous. Not only that, but I think it was cheaper in the retail stores than we paid for it.
It was $10 cheaper at retail than what we paid for the collector's special backer edition.
Oh, it was
because I remember we had Justin over for an episode, and he was making fun of us so hard for being excited about the OUYA, and I didn't understand it. Well, you know what? Now I do.
Oh yeah, no, he was totally on board.
It's a collector's item now.
To him, it was about buying a console without an ecosystem, like buying this console before there's even games for it. So you don't even know what's coming, and yet you're buying into it something. Yeah. And speaking of Justin, that was, of course, around the time he went and did his cross-country Gamer Unplugged. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
And
that was fun. He
would call in, and he would give us updates. He would record a couple of minute update for us every week on the show, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember doing the Game of Shame?
I do remember that, but I'm trying to think right now that you mention it, what a Game of Shame of mine would have been.
But you know what you remember what one of mine was, right?
Well, I do, and it's a bit of an ironic mention at this point.
It is. My Game of Shame back then was Assassin's Creed. Now look at me. I've got a freaking Assassin's Creed tattoo. I'm so into this game that and it's your fault, Craig, because you convinced me I needed to go back and play it. And I remember this, within 5 months, I had finished every Assassin's Creed game up to that point, which I think was Assassin's Creed 3. I had finished all of them. Or no, it was Revelation. I think that was around the time Revelation came out.
Okay, yeah,
right?
That was.
Right, so that was 4. Dude, it's your fault. I blame you, but also I'm very grateful that you made me play because I am such a fan of Assassin's Creed.
Well, it's great investment, that was a series that started strong. It came out with a whole kind of brand new, like you don't think about it now, but that whole concept was not done before. Yeah. And although they made some kind of major departures from that kind of original vision that they've started.
Yeah, the Assassin's Creed games today are
so different.
Far cry from what they were.
Yeah. But I just finished Origins probably 3-4 weeks ago. And what do you think the first thing I did when I finished Origins was?
You went and played. Oh my gosh, my brain just went. You're not Valhalla because after Origins, it's Odyssey.
Yep,
Odyssey.
That was I started playing Odyssey the same day I finished Origins.
Nice.
Like that's the impact that series has, right?
It is so well done. These new ones.
Yeah.
Satisfying loops, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tycko and I have talked about the what they got wrong with Valhalla because don't even get us started because there's so much.
Haven't played it yet, so.
Yeah,
I won't get you upset.
Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of those. Like, it's if you look at the Craig years of the show.
I love how you call it years, by the way.
I know. That's just what I've coined.
The Craig weeks.
That's cute, Sean. That's real cute.
I look back at how we started the show and where the show is today, and how the show has constantly changed throughout the years. But at the same time, I don't feel like it has. Do you know what I mean? Like, it still feels like the same show to me, even though if I go back and look at what we used to do, there has been a lot of changes on this show. It has just sort of morphed and changed through the years.
Look at it.
Well, visually, sure.
Now.
Visually.
Freaking video.
Yes.
You know? Like, I had no idea that this would be happening. I thought audio was where it was at, right? Radio, you know?
Yeah, we went to video on episode 200. That was the big thing for 200. We wanted to do something big for episode 200. And so I thought, well, hey guys, why don't we start doing the show live on YouTube? And it took some convincing, I think, for Jeff to do it. Do you remember that, Tycko?
Yeah, he was not immediately that interested in being online,
on camera,
having his face on camera. But he
he acclimated to it pretty quick.
He adapted very quickly to it, and I have no idea why people as ugly as us decided to do a video podcast. But what are you going to do? It's here.
Well, we had you with us, Tycko, so you took all the attention away from us.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Clearly, that's what happened.
True.
But so I mean, wow, I can't believe it. And that was 4 years ago. We started. It was basically 3.5 years ago. We started
200 episodes ago.
Wait, but now, live video production is so commonplace. Like live video is where everything's at. Like I've been live streaming now weekly for over 3 years now.
Yeah.
Like it's just so common now.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
It's just wild, but it feels like just such a natural thing. It just everything's moving so fast, and as we move along with it, it doesn't really feel like change.
Right. Exactly.
Until you look backwards and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been 4.5 years we've been video format. And I think of that's half the life of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's continued being a podcast. I take the audio and I massage it for the audio still. Which I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to miss going forward. I'm not going to miss the double duty of doing video and audio.
Let me say this before we move on. Thank you for doing all of that, because I do nothing but show up. I barely even add to the show notes. Sean does absolutely everything in regards to getting the production ready, setting the notes, finding 99% of the stuff we talk about, editing out all of the crap that shouldn't be there. So thank you for doing all that. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I appreciate that you do all of that. And thank God I didn't have to, because we'd still be on episode 200 if I was doing editing.
Well, once Jeff left too.
Can I add one thing then?
Yeah, of course.
The fact that you guys have been able to do so many episodes under that kind of relationship, Sean, just speaks to how passionate you've been about this from day one, about how passionate you've been about games and geekery and geekdom since day one, how passionate you've been about wanting to engage and bring other people into that world. So, congratulations to you both, but to you, Sean, especially. I remember even back in the early days when we started this thing, you were so invested, and it sounds like that never stopped. So good on you.
It never did. I mean, I was invested. Yeah, no, I thank you. I appreciate both of you, all of your words. Honestly, I do. But yes, been a passion. This whole thing has been a passion. You know, the YouTube channel is still a huge passion. You know, the stuff we're doing on that channel, I'm having a blast doing it. You know, sometimes it's a lot of work, but it is a passion. I do it for that reason. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to miss the double duty on this show. I am going to miss the show. Let me tell you that. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We've still got stuff to talk about. But I want to take a break. I want to play another game just because it's fun. And this game, we're going to play an old game called Lone Wolf. Tycko, and I believe you have something ready. So Lone Wolf, Craig, is a game. Yeah. It's based on the game of Wolf, which is a party game. Really,
party board game.
Really fun party game. But what Tycko's going to do is he's got a couple of cards, and he's going to read 5 questions and then a tiebreaker. So there's 6 questions total. He's going to ask us the question, and Tycko has not looked at the answer, so he's going to play along.
So it is set up, just so you know, like it's set up like this, where I just see I picked categories that I feel that would be beneficial to us. I haven't looked at any of the questions yet. I make sure I just have those ready, so that way I can play along too. I read them in real time, and then we answer them and see.
Right. So write down, and those watching, listening, you can play along. Write down the numbers 1 through 5 on a piece of paper, and Tycko's going to ask a question. And there's always a category. So we're going to write our answers, and at the end, we're going to see who got the most right. Simple as that. So what is the first category, Tycko?
The first category is famous aliens.
Excellent. E.T.
All right.
Alf.
Question. You're ruining the game.
Oh, sorry.
And you're giving people now names that they wouldn't have had to search their brain for. All right. He had to phone home in 1982.
So are we supposed to just jump in?
Write it down.
Write it down.
You write it down.
Write it down on your thing, and we compare answers.
And then we compare answers afterwards.
Beautiful.
All right. He came from the planet Orc to end up rooming with an Earthling named Mindy.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. This Vulcan is the star of Star Trek.
I disagree, but okay.
This Tall family claim they are from France, but they are really from Remulac. Well, see, I love when Sean's brain now all of a sudden can't come up with the one that he.
I know the show. I don't know the name because I didn't watch it.
All right,
but I know the.
Gene Curtin for the win.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. This Green Guardian of the Galaxy is the most dangerous woman in the universe.
All right. Now there's a tiebreaker question, just in case we all get the same number of questions right, which I think we did. This one's pretty straightforward.
All right. Tiebreaker. How many episodes of the sitcom Alf aired?
Oh, okay. I'm going to say there was this many. I'm going to say... nope.
I'm going with this number. I don't know why.
Let me see. Okay, I'm going to say this number. All right. Is
all right,
E.T.
hang on. Let me turn over the answer side.
I think the answer is E.T. I gave everyone the answer before it even was asked.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Wait. Did everybody get that one correct?
Yes.
All right.
Come on.
All right. Number 2.
Mork
from Mork.
That is correct. Number 3. Spork.
I also had Spork.
Well, I got Spock, so I get that right.
Sorry. My C's and R's look similar.
Okay.
Chicken scratching. Sorry. Number 4. Sean, did you figure this one out?
I don't know the name of the family, but it's Third Rock from the Sun.
No, it is not. It is the Coneheads.
The Coneheads.
See, I even thought of that too. Okay. So I got that one wrong. I was thinking I actually had Coneheads in my brain as well, and I was flipping between the two.
You mixed. Yeah. So, and number 5.
Gamora.
That one
All right. And the answer for what did you put down for your tiebreaker, Sean?
I put 104.
104.
I put 96.
What did you put, Tycko?
I put 60, and I was way off.
What is the answer?
The answer is 99.
Ooh. So Craig gets
close.
it. Craig's the closest.
Wins anyways because he got more right. He's closer than me. That's all he had to beat was me at this point because you got a question wrong.
That's right. So congratulations.
I didn't get Gamora.
Oh, you didn't get Gamora?
Nope.
Oh, well then I win.
Because you got
yeah.
I got all 5.
You got all 5, so
yes,
you win.
You did.
All right, one more, Tycko. You picked another one?
All right, I'm going to give you guys 2 categories.
We have to choose one?
I'll give you 3 categories.
All right.
So you can
Craig, you choose the category.
All right, we've got movie word repeats, colors in movies, and fictional character professions.
I'm intrigued by the colors in movies.
Colors in movies.
Okay, yeah,
All right.
That's an intriguing one. That's like, where is this gonna go?
I know.
All right, so this one here, fill in the blank of the missing color in these hit films.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
All right, so the first one is blank men can't jump.
Okay.
All right.
The thin blank line.
Chartreuse, I think it is.
Blank Linings Playbook.
I'm sorry, what?
Huh?
Blank Linings Playbook. And it has the years here. If anybody wants the year, by all means, ask me.
Can you read the second one again for me, please?
The thin blank line.
Okay. I'm not sure about that one. All right, number 4.
All right, number 4. A clockwork blank.
Okay.
Also chartreuse.
I think that's fuchsia, actually.
The blank Dahlia.
The blank Dahlia?
Yeah, the blank Dahlia.
I have no clue.
And that's 2006, by the way.
I actually have no idea. Okay, what's the tiebreaker for this?
The tiebreaker, in what year was the college basketball movie Blue Chips released?
No clue.
I don't even know what that movie is.
Never even heard of the movie.
It was...
Okay.
Okay, I'm going
man, look at this guy. He's flexing here.
Oh, Tycko knows movies.
It's a basketball.
That's how long this show's been on the show. We never said flexing back in the day.
That's right.
I don't know if I actually know the answer to that, but I know roughly when it should have been because that movie starred Shaquille O'Neal, basically just as he was coming into the league, and I believe it was during his rookie year, but it could have been the year after. So I'm close either way.
All right. Let's start with the answers. What is the answer to number 1?
What do you think it is, Sean?
White.
White men can't jump is correct.
Okay, and
the thin
one. White. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know. I put red, but I think it's wrong.
Red is correct. The thin red line is a war movie. The red line is the line that the front, the line of the front that moves.
It sounded right, but I was not sure of it at all. Number 3, I had Silver Lining Playbook.
Silver Lining Playbook.
Craig, how are you doing? Did you have them as well?
I did not have red. I had blue.
You had blue. There was a TV series called The Blue Line or something like that, which is...
That's why I didn't think red was... I actually had
written down blue at first, and I went back to it and changed it to red.
Blue came to mind immediately, but yeah, it was weird. Okay, so number 4 is Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange, yes, correct.
Number 5, I have no idea. I wrote black.
Black Dahlia?
That's the Black Dahlia.
It is the Black Dahlia. Okay. I got them all right.
You got them all right?
I got them all right. Did you get them all right, Tycko?
I got them all right as well.
And Craig?
Craig got
one. I got one wrong.
You got one wrong. Okay, so it's between Tycko and I. What year did you write down?
I wrote 1992.
I wrote 2008.
Okay, you were wrong.
Okay, what is the year?
It was 1994.
I don't even know the movie. I had never even heard of it.
Never heard of it.
It's Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway. Basically, it's with Nick Nolte. It's a college basketball movie. Quite a good movie.
I just, I picked a year out of my butt and wrote it down.
Yeah, well, I just knew it was right around when Shaquille O'Neal was drafted, and he was drafted right in I think he was drafted in '92. So
So
let's talk more sports, shall we, Sean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I heard of that movie as much as I've heard of The Search for Spork.
Exactly. So I want to go over.
Is an ongoing thing because KFC stopped selling them ages ago, so now people have to look all over the place for a spork.
Are we done with sporks
So The Search
now?
for Spork is a real thing. You're telling me?
It should be.
It's a new movie.
Would you not, if you had an option of a fork, spoon, or spork, which would you
always
pick?
Always a spork.
Yeah, there you go.
Why?
Because it's a universal tool, Sean.
Have you never sporked?
Well, spork you. I'd like to go through just a quick list of some of the I think what I would consider the more memorable, and apologies to those I may have forgotten, but these are the ones that kind of stick out in my mind. The guests we've had on the show, people we've been fans of, people we've met. Dan Amrich, number one, he was on our second show, right? Show number 2. And we landed Dan Amrich. It's just funny because I say that, and like back in the day, like 9 years ago, Craig, you and I were such fans of Dan Amrich because of OXM radio that like to have him on our show was just we were geeking out over it, right? And now
he was ubiquitous in our world.
Exactly.
Everything I listened to and everything I loved, he was there.
But here's the thing about social media and all of that is like I literally play mini golf in VR with Dan every Wednesday now.
Every Wednesday, you guys playing the other night.
Right. It's like it's one of those things where we've had this. I've now had a 10-year or more. It's 11 years now relationship with Dan where we just like I can message him, I can talk to him, ask him like whatever. It's like it's not like we hang out. Obviously, he's in California and I'm not, right? But it's one of those things where I know if I went to California, I would hang out with him for a day or something. He'd be like, "Yeah, come on over, let's do something." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that. It's like it's amazing to me how we went from being this like, like fandom with Dan to like he's a friend.
Amrich.
He's a friend now. Like Dan's my friend, and I actually talk to my wife and if I say Dan, she knows who I'm talking about. It's like it's just amazing how the different again. It's been that 10 years relationship.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense that he was like prime target. It's like we have to invite Dan.
We have to have Dan on.
He was kind of in that orbit too when we were having those conversations about starting the podcast. We had just talked to him that day.
Yes, we did.
Hang out with him at PAX.
PAX. Ryan McCaffrey we had on. Obviously, we had to have Ryan on since he coined the phrase, the OMG hour. So that was awesome. Do you remember, first of all, you were geeking out over this 2-part interview that you did. You had to do it alone because we had technical difficulties. Do you remember this?
We had technical difficulties.
Yeah, we were okay. So we were all set up to interview Victor Lucas.
Yeah, I remember that. That guy was it for me.
Right.
I've been following him like since the 90s in my parents' basement.
And now it's Vic's basement.
Literally.
So we ended up having a 2-part interview with him because it went so long, which was awesome.
Yes.
But we had technical difficulties with the mixer we were using. We couldn't get it to work. So you went into your office and recorded it just you. And I sat back. I'm like, you do it, man. Just talk. And you talked to him for like 45 minutes. But do you remember what happened halfway through that interview?
Well, I remember being in my office. I do remember that, but I couldn't remember why I was in my office.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm glad that you reminded me of that. So were you outside my office?
No, I was in the office, just sitting in a chair, enjoying the interview.
You were hanging out there with me.
Yeah, I was just hanging out.
Okay. Well, I remember my mother came in. At some point.
Your parents were visiting for you.
Yeah, my
there.
parents were visiting. I mean,
and
no expectation that my mother would walk down. I don't even remember if I told her what we were up to down there. I'm sure we did.
Oh, we did. They knew.
Would that have really registered with her?
Well,
podcast.
Here's what happened. It was so weird. So your ex-wife Laura was sick. She had like the flu or something, right?
How the heck do you remember that?
I have a good memory. As my
mother, all other knowledge out of his head. Anything that's not show related. His own anniversary, no idea. His kids' birthdays, God. Show stuff in there forever.
No, your mom came down because Laura was so sick that I think she wanted to take her to the hospital or something. And she came, she stormed into the room and was like, "You should be doing something to help Laura. Why aren't you upstairs? She's so..." It's like, and you're like, "Mom, I'm doing an interview here." Luckily, Victor Lucas just took it in stride. But let me tell you, the editing job I had to do on that, oh my gosh.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
That was a nightmare.
I just realized, having you kind of describe it to me, how it did sound like I'm just some weirdo in my parents' basement. I was in my own basement.
You were, that's right.
But to Victor Lucas, he probably thought I was in my parents' basement because my mom came down. She just happened to be visiting and lectured me during an interview.
Right?
Wow. Okay. I didn't think about that at the time, but now that I'm hearing you describe it, holy crap, he must have thought I was such a...
But do you kind of remember it? Is it kind of coming back to you a little bit?
Well, I remember my mom coming in, but I don't remember it being like any... I thought she just... I felt like it was just like a, oops, sorry, but
no.
I guess it wasn't.
Oh, no. She literally
Maybe
stormed
your
in.
Edits, so thank you for your edits.
It never happened in the edit.
That's how I remember it, is the way you edited it.
Syd Bolton. Awesome, Syd Bolton. Do you remember our trip down there for the first time down to the museum to meet him?
I do, because
you arranged it, Craig.
Yeah, because that was because I remember reading about him. I remember seeing him in interviews on television, and I didn't realize how close he was to where we were until we kind of looked into it. And then I didn't even know the museum existed until you brought it up and said, "Hey, let's go talk to him." So I said, "What an incredible opportunity!" And when we got there, first of all, I wasn't expecting his home.
Right.
First, I was expecting totally separate building, and then it hit me how dedicated he was. But not only how dedicated he was, but how dedicated his partner was in supporting what took over the entire home.
Yeah.
Just how kind of deeply he felt about kind of preserving and collecting all these various games and all these various systems, and how far back his knowledge went, but also how he reached out to the community.
Yes.
I didn't really read that until we attended the annual open house. Yeah. So I'm so glad
not just annual. He did like quarterly open houses.
Yeah, but we went. Whatever the I forget was it fall or.
We went to a few. You and I have been to several.
Yeah, but
and Tycko, you've been as well.
I'm so glad that we got to meet.
When we first started this, and having, after the first time I chatted with Syd, I said, "Hey, I've got some stuff if you're interested," because I had an old, basically a interactive unit, an Xbox 360 interactive unit.
I remember that. Yes.
In my office, it was just taking up space. I'm like, "Is this something that the museum would be interested in?" He's like, "Yup." And he came and picked it up, and then I found other stuff. I brought him we had like our shirts for Microsoft when Microsoft Office launched and stuff like that. I said, "These things that you'd bought." He said, "Yeah." So I brought him a box of stuff, and I figure I'll just drop this stuff off at his house. And same thing. He's like, "No, you got to come and see everything."
Yeah.
And he brought me in. His wife was exceptionally kind and welcoming to some stranger who's just walking through their house.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it's her parents were there visiting or something like that.
Oh, really?
At the same time, and still no
problem. Did they barge in and berate him in front of?
They no. It was just the coolest thing, like getting to go through and like the entire house and just showing off everything. It was just such an amazing experience, and I'm glad to have been able to give some stuff to that.
That was before you were on the show, so like you reached out to him because he was on the show.
He had been on the show, and I sent him a message that, "Hey. And like I've got some stuff. Are you interested in it?" And
well, going back to that first meeting with Syd, I was amazed, Craig, because we were going down for the PC museum, right?
Yeah.
So of course he tours us the PC museum, and like we're both in awe. Commodore 64, VIC 20, the Odyssey box, like everything was there, like, and it was just like we're in awe, but. Then he takes us over to his home where his entire basement is wall-to-wall video games of every possible system that's ever been out.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the frack? And do you remember my daughter was with us, Sydney? right?
Yeah.
Sydney's like 12 years old, and she's coming along, and she's like, so I remember Sydney just sitting on the floor, just watching us as we did our first interview with Syd, and I think it was like an hour-long interview we did with him. You know, and back then, all it was just a digital recorder sitting on the table, you know, between us.
That's right. I remember that now.
But how that spawned another amazing relationship with Syd. Not only that, but he came on the show and started doing the Lost Treasures segments.
Yeah.
You know, he did 104 episodes of Lost Treasures on this show.
Oh, amazing.
But not only that, but he and I then moved on and did 25 episodes of Lost Treasures of Gaming, the podcast. You know, we started a whole new show where we interviewed developers of these classic games. And it was like, and for those who have never heard it, check it out it's on our YouTube, where I'm re-releasing them as video. It's the audio being re-released on YouTube, essentially. Because you know what, this is something that shouldn't be lost. You know, we may have lost Syd in 2018. I cannot believe it's been almost 3 years since he's been gone. And I'll never forget when it happened as well, because Syd was scheduled to be on the show. It was episode 399. Sorry, 299.
Oh my God, yes.
He was scheduled to be on the show in episode 299. And I texted him about an hour before the show. I said, "We all good? Everything's all set up, ready to go?" No answer. And it was like, this is unusual for Syd. No answer. And of course, 5 days later, he's gone. And it was like, it hit me hard, because he and I had become pretty good, good friends. And I really looked up to him. We spoke every week because of Lost Treasures and because of the other, Lost Treasures of Gaming. We spent a lot of time, not necessarily together, but talking, and so I still can't believe, 2018 we lost Syd, and that was a huge loss, even for the gaming community locally, for that history of everything, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never met another person who was so dedicated to that. It was more of an education piece.
Yeah.
In that he wanted to spread that kind of love and kind of reverence for either technology or games. And it wasn't all just games. A lot of it was computers and just kind of advances in technology, and how kind of technology kind of touches our lives, but how he opened up to the whole community.
Absolutely.
Like, he knew everybody and everybody knew him.
That's right. That's right.
So that's really what everyone lost was that.
He was so revered in the community.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And and I will never forget his contribution to this show, and how passionate he was to help us on this show. Like, we were so fortunate to have him on the show every week for years, right? Doing these segments. It was awesome. Two other names that really stand out to me, that I'll never forget. We had Kate Drummond, who was the actress behind Anna Grimsdotter in Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Eric Johnson, who I've been a fan of since Smallville days. He was, of course, Sam Fisher on Blacklist. But what really stands out to me about not only Kate and Eric, but Eric specifically. Kate I've seen multiple times, and every time I see her, she remembers us. She remembers me, and it's always great. It's like, of course I'm going to remember her, but it's one of those things where she's never going to remember me, but she does.
You really don't expect it.
Right, but she does. I've seen her at several, or at least multiple events since then, and she always comes over and chats when she sees me. Eric Johnson, the same thing. It was so awesome to be able to speak to him, and I met him again in Toronto with my daughter Sydney. Again, she loves Smallville, huge Smallville fan. She's probably watched the entire 10 seasons 10 times. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. She's a huge fan. So when she heard I was going to interview Eric Johnson, I asked him if she could speak to him first before we did. And he was like, absolutely. So she got to sit down with someone, an actor, and she's like, she had to have been like 15, 16 years old at the time. And she got to sit down on Skype and talk to Eric Johnson, this actor that she's only ever seen on TV. And it was so magical just to be able to experience that with her. You know what I mean? And she sat down there. She sat right here throughout the entire interview as I was talking to him for the show. She was so, I mean, and I will never forget being able to give her that. But then he did a 2-person play in Toronto with oh my gosh, her name's gone. Lana from Smallville. Tycko, remember her name?
Kristen Crook.
Kristen Crook, thank you. So he did a two-person show with Kristen Crook in Toronto. Sydney and I went and saw it, and she was so fortunate that the both of them signed her Smallville DVD case. You know, and I got him to sign my Blacklist game and stuff, and I got her autograph. We got our pictures taken with them. So, you know, it's been great. Like this show has afforded me so many opportunities over the years that it's amazing. Like I've been so fortunate to have these opportunities to meet these people and actually talk to them and interview them, you know, and it's been such a great experience. Like I will never regret doing this show for 400 episodes. It's been so great.
Good. That is something to say, because there's a lot of people, when you do something 400 times, especially the amount of work that goes into this, doing that 400 times, that's a good way to walk away from it. It is saying, you know what, it was all worth it.
I will never regret this show. It's just it's time to move to new things. That's really what
he's willing to do it 400 times. 401 is pushing it.
It's just too much. I might go postal if I do another one. All right.
Not mention that game.
We have one more game before we get to the final act of the show. I knew this was going to go over an hour, so those of you complaining that it's no longer an hour, it's the final episode.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, but I don't care.
Like it's a 401st episode, so just consider yourself, you know.
I'm going to go postal. All right. The final episode that Tycko and I did years ago now. It's got to be years now, Tycko. We've done this, like, seriously. 2 years ago?
This one? Oh, this has been at least a year since we've done this.
So we call this Brain Cage. And we call this Brain Cage because it's based on the game Mind Trap, which I'm sure everyone has heard of. It's a trivia game that I've been a fan of a long time. I was a teenager when I bought Mind Trap. So I've got 3 questions. I've read through them. I know the answers, but I'm going to read them to you guys. I'm going to let you guys hash out what the answers are. Okay, I'm going to read them. All right, so here goes. Sam Slug and a few of the boys were playing cards when Sam posted a question. In an ordinary deck of playing cards, 2 of the jacks have 2 eyes and 2 of the jacks have 1 eye. How many eyes are on the 4 jacks? So talk it out, gents.
All right, so
2 of the jacks have 2 eyes, and 2 of the jacks have 1 eye. How many eyes total?
It has to be 12, right?
Right.
Because there's like
there'd be
6, and then they're flipped on both sides. Or sorry, you know what I mean? You rotate
the top
them,
and
there's
bottom
a
of
jack,
the
top and
cards.
bottom.
You are absolutely correct. The number is 12.
Okay, good. Phew.
You always, whenever it's those ones there, it's like, this is basic math.
Right.
There seems like there should be a trick.
I think the trick with that one is you forget to multiply it by 2.
That is the trick. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but
why wouldn't you?
Tycko's a poker player, so he knows cards. And that's kind of, I grabbed these by random. I'm like, man, these are perfect, these questions. They're not super hard, so it's not going to take forever to get through them. It's just fun. What 5-letter word becomes shorter when you add 2 letters to it?
Short.
Very good.
Nicely done.
All right, and the final one. This one might take some thinking, but this one's fun. How many times do the hour and minute hand cross each other in a 12-hour period? Start at 12 o'clock noon and count that as 1. How many times do the hour and minute hand cross each other in a 12-hour period? Including noon. So think it through. Talk it out. This is radio. You don't want silence.
I'm like, am I an idiot for just saying,
all right,
it's obviously 12, so it can't be 12. That's too obvious.
Why can't it be 12? What's your reasoning behind that?
Because
it seems like it's too obvious. That's the only reason why it shouldn't be 12. Do they count as crossed when they start?
At 12 noon, that is 1.
At 12 noon. Okay.
12 noon, that is 1. So
and in a 12-hour period
and
till 12 a.m.
It will end essentially at 11:59.
11:59.
So you would
they
not
haven't crossed each other.
You would not include midnight because you've already counted noon.
Oh, it's 13 then. Oh, you would not include midnight. Okay, it's 12.
You include noon, but not midnight.
Right, so that would be 12.
So
it would be
why
15.
is talk it out? Why is it 12? What are the?
It's 1
There's
through
12.
Yeah.
1. It has to before it hits 3. It has to go. It has to cross again.
11:59, but it would hit itself at 11:59 as well. Right before clicking over to 12.
Ah.
So it'd be 13.
No.
It'll be 12.
The answer is
11. 6. 42.
So your answer is 12.
Oh my God.
They will cross each other 11 times.
Ah, shoot.
At 12 noon, 1:05, 2:10, 3:16, 4:21, 5:27, 6:32, 7:38, 8:43, 9:49, and 10:54. And then again at midnight.
Oh.
So they do not cross each other in the 11 hour.
Listen.
Aha.
We use digital now. My clock is on my phone.
I see.
Okay?
We just try to blow it off that.
So that's your excuse. You have no excuse, Tycko. You were wrong.
You pushed for an answer too soon. You were still doing the math.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I was too lazy to do the math, so it was never going to happen. I was never going to get there.
He doesn't know. Eventually, we could have guessed 11, though.
Yes, eventually you can guess 11.
Eventually. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I'd like to
Which
just
makes for great radio, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I just want to open it up now to you guys and just, what do you guys remember? What do you think fondly of over the last 9 years? Like moments on the show, moments in gaming since 2012 till now. What kind of stands out to you as like the best moments of gaming that you've had over the last 9 years?
Gaming. We did gaming over 9 years?
I think we did a few games. Tycko, you may have played 1 or 2.
I may have played a couple. I don't know. There's been some good games. I don't know when they all came out. Like, it's sort of all a big blur to me. Moments on the show, though, that are I fondly remember. Our first trip to PAX.
Oh yeah.
Where where we got to go and we did the show on the show floor, the daily recaps and stuff like that. Those are memories. I'll have the hot hand chicken.
Oh my gosh, hot hand chicken story. Awesome.
Some fun stories that have come up from while we went down there. And again, our last trip down, which was PAX Unplugged in Philly with the cheesesteaks that I'll forever be upset that we can't go back and get one right now.
We were both kicking ourselves for not buying 2 because we ate it. And it was so delicious. Then we walked back to the Airbnb, and we're like, I could totally eat another one right now.
Yeah.
And by that, it was like 30-minute walk away.
I have learned in my years that always buy 2 is just, you should apply that to everything. You find a pair of shoes you like, buy 2.
Buy 2.
You find a shirt you like, you buy 2.
It was such a weird experience.
You find a cheesesteak you like, you buy 2, because you never know.
We'd never done that before, and it had like a whole soup Nazi ordering system.
Oh, it was crazy.
Like, you're in line. It's a huge line. It's all these drunk people at 11:30, 12.
It was late. Yeah.
It was late, and we're lined up, and it's like, move forward. There's like board ordering specific. Have your money ready to hand to the guy. Tell him the combination that you want, and we're just trying to figure out the entire ordering system as we're doing it.
Yeah, we've never done it before.
Out.
There's a very specific way you need to order them. It's so weird.
Too much pressure.
It was delicious though. It was worth the pressure.
Incredible.
But like stuff like that. That's what I remember. Like those events. Like we do the show on a regular basis and stuff like that. And so a lot of them, just talking about random stuff and things like that. It's the opportunities where we've gotten a chance to go out into field. The chance where we've gotten to sit down together to record either at your place or when we're doing the board game stuff. And those are the things that really stand out to me.
Tycko, I'm going to see if I can find it. It's not in the show now, but do you remember this guy right here? Do you remember him?
Oh. Undead zombie
Remember Zombie Fly?
Undead Zombie. He still has a Twitter account.
Does he really?
Yeah. Well, there's a fly buzzing around Jeff's head, and he murdered it.
Oh,
quite substantially.
He murdered. He like got away from the mic and was like, smash, smash, smash. He was like, on the show. He's behind the. He's in his room trying to get this fly that just suddenly appeared during the entire show. And it was so hilarious. Him just literally smashing it on the floor with like he could grabbed a textbook or a magazine or something. It was hilarious.
I created a Twitter account to start harassing him about the murder.
The Undead Zombie Fly.
Undead Zombie Fly, at Undead Zombie Fly. I think it's not active, obviously.
Right.
But it would just like, why did you have to do that to me, Jeff? Come on, Jeff. I had a family. I
had billions of children counting them.
Maybe that's why he didn't come back. Is that kind of
the Undead Zombie Fly? Oh man, I remember that moment. And of course we brought it back every now and again. We would deliberately, I'd put it on top of his video and make it fly around.
There's a spider incident.
There was a spider incident.
I had a spider when we first started doing video that crawled onto the lens of my webcam.
Awesome.
And I have only a slight fear of spiders.
Only a slight fear, Tycko?
Only a slight fear. You know what? I jumped when that came across. Like a slight jump when that came across. That's how bad it is. Yeah, I remember, and it just sat there. And so I was like, "Are you going to get rid of it?" I'm like, "No, it lives there now."
It was on the camera.
He owns the house. You signed over the deed that
night. Yeah. Like you could see it for the whole show because it was in the corner of the camera. The spider just sitting there,
and he's like, "I'm not touching it. I'm basically, I did the whole show like this."
He did.
Yeah, I have a problem with spiders. My wife kills all the spiders in the house for us. That is her job. I take care of clowns. If there's a clown in the house, I will get rid of that.
Even if it's Pennywise?
Yeah, no, I deal with all the clowns. She deals with spiders.
How many clowns have you murdered in your home?
With statute of limitations, 4.
4.
They came in one car though, so
That sounds right. Craig,
that checked out.
what are your, I mean, it was a long time ago. It was 20 episodes, but do you have any memories that you kind of remember when you think about the show?
Well, actually, we kind of covered most of my memories. So I'm just enjoying. Oh, look, there's the spider. He's back. He's back. Oh my God! Don't look.
I think I don't watch that part of the screen.
Nicely done. I'm enjoying hearing you guys talk about it because you guys have been able to kind of just keep this going for so long and have been able to generate all these memories that are every bit as important as those very few memories that I had back in the early days. So, of course, my biggest memories are the conversations we had when we first met. And how quickly a meeting became a podcast, and how quickly a podcast became an interview show. And then, it just became like a multi-segment thing. So my memory is more just about, just the whole nidus of the whole thing and how it all started. And then, of course, there's some bad memories that happened shortly thereafter.
Unfortunately,
I have very fond memories of just that very short period of time, and I really want to thank you for allowing me to join you guys today, and for you, Sean, especially for having such a great memory to remember the things that I wouldn't have remembered. So you are my best memory.
Wow! Thank you. I appreciate that. I think you know what? It's been almost an hour and a half. I think now is probably a good time to just bring it to a close. It's been such a great journey for me. And I'll say that I actually.
Congratulations to you both.
Oh, thank you, Craig, and Craig, thanks for coming back. I will say that this show almost ended last year at 350, and I said, you know what? Let's just go to 400 because last year around this time it was I was getting so I don't know, I was feeling burnt out because of a lot of things. It wasn't this show. It was just a lot of things going on, and I'm like, I don't know how much I've got left in me. Things have gotten better over the years. Tycko and I, obviously, last year we started our kicking tables and flipping tables show, which is really kind of where we're focusing more now. And I just feel like we're at that point where this show has, it's lived its life. I think it's just time for the sun to sunset the show. You know what I mean? It's
original.
The landscape of gaming has changed so much in 9 years that this kind of show just really isn't what people are looking for anymore. It's all about like the Twitch streaming and stuff, which I get. I mean, that wasn't even around when we started the show, right?
No.
So, but yeah, I mean, again, I don't regret anything, but it is time for Tycko and I to move into new projects.
Spin-offs. Yeah, the original's going away, but the spin-offs will live.
We have ideas for some smaller type video shows. Again, for those of the listening to audio, the audio is coming to an end. I do not plan to start another podcast, so but we'll be around on our YouTube channel, so come check us out there. But Craig, before we go, I'm going to give you a chance to plug your own stuff. And again, Craig, thank you so much for starting this journey with me. If it weren't for you coming to PAX, this wouldn't have happened. So,
I bet you still would have, man. I know you.
I don't know, man.
You would have done this anyway.
You gave me that reason. You and I worked on it together, and it was our show. And when you had to go, it became my show, and I needed to I wanted to run with it. I didn't want it to end, right? So I ran with it, but it was our show to start with. And so without you, I honestly don't believe the show would have happened. So thank you for being my co-host for the first 20 episodes for the Craig years.
Well, thank you for saying
for jump-starting it. And I appreciate you joining us today to say goodbye to the show. But plug your stuff first before we let you go.
Yeah, sure. So you were kind of talking about kind of Twitch streaming.
So I like to do Twitch streams. Yeah,
there's a new one of the new shows, Twitch streaming.
Twitch stream
coming soon.
Oh yes, live screaming will become a thing. No, in all seriousness, I was inspired by just that Twitch streaming, and that streaming has become such a big thing. And I knew that I had so many musical friends that I had made and developed over the course of me kind of changing gears from gaming back into music, that I wanted to marry a way of providing kind of live music entertainment, showcasing local musicians, but incorporating some of the technology techniques and just some of the format of Twitch streamers. So I started a live stream show called My Living Room Live. So my fiance Andrea and I, we go live every Wednesday night on Facebook at facebook.com/My Living Room Live. That's where we go live. We all archive all the shows on YouTube. So if you're a YouTuber, just head on over to youtube.com/My Living Room Live. We're also on Twitter at In My Living Room. I still tweet occasionally at Talus, but my life is mainly around our live stream program, and we do that every single Wednesday. We have a big annual Christmas show every single year where we bring all sorts of musicians into our home, although not this past year.
No, right?
And yeah, because we used to have live musical guests on the show all the time, but now it's just us. I play drums, my wife sings and plays piano, and it's a wonderful good time, and we invite you all into our living room. So please join us if you're looking for something to do on a Wednesday night.
Awesome. Well, Craig, thank you again for coming back. It's been a pleasure having you back to catch up with you. And again, thanks for starting this journey with me 9 years ago. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come back. I hope you realize I think it took me 30 seconds to say yes.
It did. Oh, it did. It did. Hey, want to come back for 400? Yeah, I'm there.
And I put it in the calendar, I think, 5 seconds
immediately. Later. I appreciate it. Well, Craig, I'm going to let you go, and Tycko and I are going to finish the show here, but thanks again for coming back. We will talk to you later.
Great job, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy retirement. So I look forward to the RMG hour whenever that happens.
Whenever.
In the next 10 years.
Yeah, give it 20, 30 years, then we'll do it.
All right. Cheers, guys.
See you, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Tycko, this is it. I mean, holy cow, 400 episodes.
400.
9-year journey. You've been on this journey for pretty much half of it. You know, if you want to round up, it's you have been on the show for half of its life. And I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done on the show. Again, I couldn't have done this without you, because after 300, it was just the two of us. So I appreciate you sticking around, you know, and I appreciate the work you put into, or can I call it work, Tycko?
It's not really work. I mean, I'm more of like producer type credit, where like I will say, hey Sean, this is a great idea,
now do it,
figure out how to make it work. And that's the contribution I've made. I'm like, hey, this would be fun to do, let's do this, and I throw random ideas at you, and occasionally you message me back and say, what are you, an idiot? I can't do that. That's not something computers can do yet. And sometimes you say, yeah, that's a good idea, let's go with it, and we've managed to make something pretty fun.
I think so too. Again, I want to thank all the listeners as well for sticking with us for 9 years. I know there's some of you who have been around since the beginning, and I do appreciate that. You know, we're not going anywhere. We still have our YouTube channel. We've got new shows we're thinking of doing in the media genre. I'm hoping to still do video game reviews just as their own standalone segment on the channel. So video game reviews we still want to do, and we've got some ideas for some TV stuff. And of course, we've got our flipping tables and our kicking tables. So if you're not watching us on YouTube, come on over to youtube.com/OMG Nexus. Give us a subscribe there. But thank you, everybody, for joining us for this journey. This has been the OMG Hour forever. Episode 400 in the bag. And again, I don't regret a thing. It's been a fantastic journey. But there is definitely more to come. But come and join us on YouTube for whatever is next for us. Tycko, again, thank you. Give us a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon right here on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at OMG Nexus. On Facebook, we are also OMG Nexus. I am Ziantane everywhere, and that is Xiantayne, and I will be Ziantane forever. Everywhere.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place. I do want to say again, thank you for everything you've done for this. It has been fantastic. So, and you can follow our Instagram for the continued adventures of Sean and Tycko at Flipping Tables with OMG.
So that is it for the OMG Hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And, reach out on Twitter and Instagram. And we're still around. But thanks so much for joining us for this journey. Let the next chapter begin. Bye, everybody.
Guys. Bye.